Studying is a hard test. However, it ceases to be a test if you have the right kind and right amount of motivation. Hello everyone, I am Nino Bautista and I am the discussant for today's meeting. We will be talking about the definition, the nature, and the different types of motivation. Motivation is not only important in its own right, it is also important predictor of learning and achievement. Students who are more motivated to learn persist longer, produce higher quality efforts, and learn more deeply, and perform better in classes and on standardized tests. Without further ado, let's all start now in widening our perspectives. Let's define first what is motivation. Motivation is the inner drive that causes you to do something and persevere at something. It energizes you to do something and it is the strength of the drive toward an action. While ability refers to what children can do, motivation refers to what these children will do. Motivation refers to the initiation, direction, intensity, and persistence of behavior. When we get motivated to do something, it is not enough that we start working at that thing, but that we get attracted to it. Our attraction towards it becomes so intense that we persist working on it through thick and thin until its completion. Learners' motivation is the primary factor influencing both performance and success in school. A student's level of motivation is shown in his or her choice of action, intensity, and persistence of effort. If you have a highly motivated student, you have a student who is excited about learning and accomplishing things. He or she takes the initiative to undertake learning tasks, assignments, and projects without being pushed by his or her parents and teachers. He or she has goals to accomplish and dreams to realize. He or she is convinced that accomplishing the things he or she is asked to accomplish in class helps him or her to realize the goals he or she has set for himself or herself and his or her dreams in life. He or she is willing to give up the satisfaction of immediate goals for the sake of more important remote goals. An example is her willingness to give up joining his or her barkada to watch a movie in order to prepare thoroughly for final examination. A student who is highly motivated to learn enjoys learning and learns much more than the one who is not as motivated. So he or she persists and perseveres in his or her studies even when things turn out to be difficult. He or she doesn't give up easily. As a result, his or her performance is satisfactory. In contrast, a student who is not motivated to learn doesn't enjoy learning, doesn't study unless pushed. So when he or she feels the difficulty of study, he or she readily gives up. He or she lacks perseverance. In summary, motivated students have the following characteristic traits. First, have positive attitude towards school and describe school as satisfying. Second, persist on difficult tasks and cause few management problems. And third and lastly, process information in depth and excel in classroom learning expertise. Now let's talk about the different types of motivation. So motivation is classified as either intrinsic or extrinsic. It is intrinsic when the source of motivation is from within the person himself or herself or the activity itself. It is a motivation to engage in an activity for its own sake. An example is when a student reads pocket books because he or she himself or herself wants to read them or because reading them is in itself worthwhile and enjoyable. So motivation is extrinsic when that which motivates a person is someone or something outside him or her. When a student studies because he or she was told by his teacher, or he or she is afraid to fail and his or her parents will make him stop schooling, or because it will lead to a good grade, we can say that he or she is extrinsically motivated. Extrinsic motivation is motivation to engage in an activity as a means to an end. In our examples, the student studies to please or her teacher, the parents, or to get a good grade. He doesn't study for the joy of studying. Obviously, intrinsic motivation is more beneficial than the extrinsic motivation because intrinsic motivation comes from within the person himself or herself. If that which motivates a person is something or someone outside, the moment that something or that someone is gone, the person's motivation is also gone. So, intrinsic motivation is evident when people engage in an activity for its own sake, without some obvious external incentive present. Reading for no reason other than the joy of reading illustrates intrinsic motivation. Research indicates that intrinsic motivation is preferable because of its focus on learning and understanding. Some of you might ask, what is the role of extrinsic motivation? Initially, extrinsic motivation is necessary to develop the love for learning among the poorly motivated students. If good grades, rewards, praises, or words of encouragement or fear of failing grade can motivate unmotivated students to study, why not? For as long as students are hardly motivated, external motivation in the form of rewards, incentives, or punishment play a significant role in the development of motivated students. It is expected, however, that these extrinsic motivational factors be gradually replaced by internal motivation. So, in the concrete, this means that after motivating the students to study by way of reward, praise, encouragement, punishment, hopefully, the students develop the genuine love for learning and becomes intrinsically motivated in the process. In short, we may begin employing extrinsic motivation at the start, but this should fade away as the students get intrinsically motivated themselves. So that concludes my report. Thank you for listening and I hope you've learned something. Keep safe. God bless.